Hey folks, Jessica here. So today I want to do kind of a continuation of my basic guide to weapon grids and talk about some key things to look out for if you feel like you don't know what to do next in terms of increasing power level. This came out of a conversation. Oh, something. My little kitty here. He's in my lap. Hi, kitty. Say hi. Love you. So forgive me if you can hear him purring. He is a little purr machine right now. So anyway, this came out of discussion with my dad because he got to the point where he had full SSR teams with good characters and SSR grids, and he was clearing all the content, no problem, and he wasn't sure what the next step was to continue growing in power. So if you're just starting out, I would say go look at my my guide to weapon grids. I'll post a link down below. That'll cover a lot of the more basic stuff. But today we're going to try and talk a little bit about steps beyond basic. So this assumes you've got like a Magna grid, so something like this. You've got your Magna summon. You have like characters that match elements. You know, all the basic stuff. Ideally, you have an SSR team, that kind of thing. Maybe you've started a couple teams. Like all that's the basic stuff. Now, what do you do after you've got your grid of basic manual weapons? So like the Tiamat weapons, for example. The first thing you do is start working towards completely FLBing your Magna Summon. So get them their final uncap. This is going to take a while. This is going to require the Magna 2 raids. Since this is a brief overview, I'm probably not going to get too much into how to do the specific steps. But you can find that information easily enough. I will just point out that the Magna 2 raids will require you to be on the second island of the story. So, where is it? Nefelgard, however you say this. I think it's Kluger Island. This is where I show my ignorance and that I don't actually remember where these things are hosted. Where is Grimnir? Here we go. Yeah, chapter 87. So you're gonna want to you should always be working on your story. Try and keep up with the story as it comes out if you are strong enough to do so. And yeah, do these Magna 2 summons events. These things will require crystals. You get them from the regular Magnas or the Magna HLs. And yeah, get your summon fully uncapped. You can also use a Sunstone. I don't recommend that though. But if you really want to not farm forever to uncap your Magna summon, your Mega summon, then you could use a Sunstone. But I didn't say that. So after you get your Magna 2 weapons, you should also be looking. After you get your Magna 2 summon, you should be looking to getting the Magna 2 weapons if they're relevant for your grid. They're not relevant for every grid. Some grids don't care about them as much. Not gonna get into it because it differs from element to element, but like, for example, stuff like this Last Storm Harp, definitely a very good one if you're playing wind. Like, you want to get stuff like this. Additionally, if your element has items that are considered keystone items, there's no committee that calls them keystone items. They're just items that like people widely accept are like ideal for that element, that are farmable. Get those. So example, Thimble from the okay, embarrassing. I haven't fully leveled this. It's because I don't play water that much. But anyway, I'm sorry. This is one of the keystone weapons for water. It's pretty much best in slot for water. So when the Fenrir event comes around, you want to be getting your Fimbles. Kitty, you're kicking me. Depending on what kind of grid you're running, you might want to start considering like non-standard Magna weapons, I guess we'll call them. This is not a Magna weapon, but there is a Magna version of it, so I'll use it for example. Oberon can be better than a Leviathan dagger in a lot of cases. If you have the desire to kind of tweak your grid and make it a little bit more specialized like that, then get those. At this point also, it should go without saying, you should already have your Bahamut weapon like Coda if you can. You should have unlocked. You should be level 101. Unlocked your tier 4 class, and also you should have your seraphic weapon. One of these things. If they aren't fully uncapped, like fully upgraded, do work on getting them fully upgraded. Also remember they only exist for the main cycle elements. So Earth, Wind, Fire, and Heart. No, Earth, Wind, Fire, and Water. Dark and Light don't have them, but they are important because they give you a damage cap boost, and they give you, like, they're just very important. They give you like a flat boost that is huge. I actually don't remember they give you a damage cap boost though. Gotta look into that. That's only if you're fighting on an element though. So this is the one for water. Very, very important step. Don't skip it. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, you should also be working towards getting your Eternals from the Revenant weapons. So, Revenant weapons... Oh, I should also say, you should be in a crew. If you're not a crew, join a crew. Like, there's so many benefits to being in a crew. Let's see. Revenant weapons. So, whenever a United Fight comes around, you can pick 2 Revenant weapons to work on. These correspond to characters. Figure out the character that you want for your element, and start building it. Start doing the upgrade process. This will take a while. It's going to require a lot of materials. There's multiple steps. It will require a gold bar. But do this, because chances are, for a lot of people, their Eternals are going to be your best character for that team. The mileage may vary depending on what element you are, though. So once you fully upgrade this, you'll have your Eternal. Some teams want to run 2 Eternals, like Water. Wind is also kind of in that boat. If that's the case, definitely work on both of those characters if that's your element. That's super important. And also, it's not hard. It's just time consuming. After that, I would say you should be starting to look at getting your Atma weapon, which is basically from the normal Ultimate Bahamut raid under the Ultimate Weapon tab. Atma Recollection. These weapons all boost characters of the same weapon speciality that they are. So what I mean is, like, Atma's Sword, for example, if you have one of these, which I do. Let's look at... Oh, my cat making so much noise, so cute. If you look at, for example, my Fire team, these are all sword specialty characters. Sturm is Saberspec, Therese is Saberspec, Ultimate Beatrix now. Swimsuit Beatrix, I guess that is Ultimate Beatrix, is also Saberspec. Even my backline, Yule, Saberspec. Tian is not Saberspec, but she is there to get me the loots. They all match, and my character is Berserker, who's using an axe right now, but is also Saberspec and Axe-Spec. They will all benefit from this Ultima weapon, or Atma weapon. It'll be an Atma weapon at this point. Boost characters' attack specs on the actual, like, proc is pretty good. But the big thing is, it will be a big boost to Saber's specialties, attack, and HP. That is huge. It's a really large buff. I think the general rule is you want to have your character and at least your main character and at least 2 of your team members matching element for this to be a bonus, because this doesn't have a flat bonus to everybody. It only has to Saber spec. So if you have a team that is like 1 gun spec character, your main character's sword spec, you have a katana spec, and then like a harp spec, this is going to be a loss in damage actually. So keep that in mind. You should be trying to make your team align to this as much as possible, all same spec if possible. Generally speaking, it is better to run characters that aren't like your best character if they do match the weapon. Mileage may vary. There are some characters that are so important you should run them even if they don't match element, like 6 for Dark, for example. I run Dark Sword, but 6 is Fist. 6 also hits like a goddamn truck even without this bonus, so like I still run them. Then you're gonna wanna let me go back here. So many menus to navigate. I wish they would like streamline the menu process for Granblue. Let's see, where is it? Ultima weapons. So you build your Ultima weapon. you're gonna want to get a Goth Key for it. What is a Goth Key? Glad you asked. These modify your ultimate weapon to give them an extra bonus. So like this one gives an extra bonus to attack. I think this one was a stamina. No, this is HP. Strife is the one you want, however, because Strife is multi-attack rate. I don't think any team, if you have an exception to this, feel free to let me know. But as far as I know, there is no team that doesn't want the Strife Key. You apply the Strife Key to your ultimate weapon, and it will give a bonus to multi-attack rate. Super important. So many menus to navigate. So, Atma weapon, get your Goth Key, you're pretty good. Align your team with your Atma weapon, that's pretty big. Now, I'm not going to get into ultimate weapons yet, because ultimate weapons I feel like are the super endgame. At this point, you're going to have a grid that has basically... Let me pull up Wind again. Yeah. You're going to have a grid with the Magna weapons you want, ideally the Magna 2 weapons, or the other like non-mainline Magna weapons you want, or normal. This applies for normal weapons also. But whales are kind of in a different boat, so less like you can skip some of these steps if you're whaling. If you have a Cosmo weapon, you know what, forget it, actually. I don't think Cosmo weapons are relevant almost in any case anymore, so don't even worry about Cosmo weapons. Rest in pieces, Grande. So, at this point you should, and you know, you have a fully uncapped summon. I need to like get better examples set up ahead of time. You have a fully uncapped Magna summon, or if you're lucky, you have like a primal summon, or like a straight elemental summon, like Grimnir, for example, for wind. And once you have all that, the next thing you're going to do is actually going to be a long step, because you have pretty much everything you can farm for. You got your keystone weapons, Ultima, Bahamut, whatever. Whatever event weapons are relevant, there's very few that are super relevant these days, besides the Xeno weapons. The next step is where you're going to have to start saving for a spark. So this is the step not a lot of people talk about. Over time, you're going to get crystals passively. So like through the daily bonus, through doing new events, new stories as they come out. Side Games is pretty generous with crystals. There'll be a lot of times they just give players crystals for like promotions, that kind of thing. Save those, because whenever you make a roll on one of these, you get a Cerulean Spark. Sparks only last until the end of whatever promotion it is. So save up, don't spend your crystals as you get them. That's a common mistake. I'm guilty of that sometimes. Save them. You want to accrue 300 pulls worth of crystals, or tickets combined with crystals, whatever. It's 300 pulls though. If you're doing that in raw crystals, I believe that's 90,000 crystals. So it's going to take a little while to get there, strictly off of crystals. Now, why that is important is if you make 300 pulls, you get 300 Cerulean Sparks. That lets you pick from any of the available items for that banner, 100%, and you can grab that. That is key because there are very few opportunities outside of a subtext to be able to pick a character you want. In terms of grid, however, there are a lot of weapons that are extremely key to certain elements that you can only really guarantee getting through subtixing, unless you're whaling. So Murglice is one, for example. This is Catalina, Grand Catalina's weapon. Absolutely fundamental weapon for water. Even if you're not running like primal... Oh my god, my cat is digging in his litter box and it's making so much noise. My other cat. This one's still right here in my lap. Hello, honey. He's super asleep. Anyways, so what was I saying? Oh my god, that's so distracting. So you need to get these. If you're not running a primal, you still want to get Merglace. Anything that has Grand Weapon over it, by the way, is something you should not reduce. You should not combine it into anything else. These are absolutely key. These are the goal. These are some of the best weapons in the game. Even if you're just running Magna, it's still worthwhile to have a couple of these weapons in your grid. So basically, save for a Spark, and then wait for either the mid-month limited gala or the end of the month gala. The characters that are available during them differ. Like I think if you want story SSR grand characters, they're only available during galas. They will be end of the month, and then all the other like limited edition characters will be during the middle of the month. And then like you've got 9,000 crystals, spend them all, like pull 300 times. This is during a rate up with a 6% SSR rate, so hopefully you pull the character you're trying to get anyway, and then you can spark something else. But do the 300 pulls. A lot of people end up pulling ideally really good stuff, like other SSRs or other elements, other grand weapons that they need, stuff like that. There's no predicting what you're going to get, but you'll hopefully in 300 pulls during a gala, you'll get some good stuff. And then when you get to the end, when you have 300 sparks, just hit the available items, find the character you want, the weapon you want, and get it. Now, I should say, never, ever, 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 no matter how much you want the character, spark outside of one of the double rate up galas. Because one, double rate up means you're going to get twice the number of SSRs, and two, a lot of the characters that are worth sparking and the weapons that are worth sparking are only available during those galas. That's important. It's a long step. Start now. Save your crystals. Save every single crystal you got. It's gonna take a little while. I think it's about 3 months to build up a spark. For most people, it really varies depending on depending on how generous Side Games is being. If you like get a lot of crystals and you want to fill in the rest of it by just spending money, you can do that too. But if you're strictly free to play, this is like the main way to guarantee you get the characters you want. So once you get the characters you want and the weapons you want, you've got a really solid grid at this point. Now what? Well, you're pretty like endgame at this point. I would say work on other elements. If you don't have like solid representation in all elements, because it is a rainbow meta. There are a lot of battles where so I guess I should explain that briefly. Granblue Fantasy used to not have elemental resistance, so characters now certain boss fights will have characters that take dramatically reduced damage if you're not fighting with the strong element against them. They did this to counter the fact that everybody just ran Dark all day every day in Granblue Fantasy because it killed everything. Even if you weren't getting the bonus, it was hitting so damn hard that you didn't really need to worry about anything else. So we got a rainbow grid system where it's now ideal to have a grid of every color if you can. Also makes them a lot more money, so it makes sense. Yeah, so get good representation in all elements, and then consider getting an Ultima weapon. This is gonna require Ultimate Bahamut HL, 6-man raid, very hard. I think I posted a couple run-throughs of them somewhere. This is gonna require like a coordinated group. This is why you should be in a crew that is active, that talks to you. Ideally, you got a Discord together, and then you've got to do Ultimate Bahamut HL. And then just like the Goth Key, you're gonna want to get one of these keys. These increase your damage caps, like boost to 1 foe damage cap. So let me pull open my sword. Yeah, I missed. Back. Here we go. Okay, Ultimate Sword. As you can see here, the Atma bonuses boost to attack and HP, big boost to multi-attack rate, but boost to 1 foe damage cap. This is my auto attack damage cap. It's a big boost, it's very important, but that is probably the last step you really need to worry about. Ultima weapons, like A lot of people never get them because like Ultimate Bahamut HL is not a thing you can pug really unless you're very, very brave and get very lucky with your pugs. So a lot of people just don't get to this step, and that's fine. It is kind of the cherry on top of everything. And then at that point, you've done pretty much everything you can do. If you've got a good team of whatever element you want to run, you've got grand weapons or like a full magnitude grid. That's probably pinnacle for you until they start releasing more stuff that becomes relevant for your class. Check Granblue Fantasy Reddit. Check back here. I'll post updates when new stuff comes out, and that will you're basically just enjoy it. You're at your peak. Keep farming materials, unlock the EX Road 2 classes, makes your class champion weapons if you want the class champion weapons. But basically, yeah, you're good. Like this grid has a bunch of grand weapons, and it's got the Zeus fully uncapped. When are they going to give us FOB for the primal summons? When? I'm very impatient. Yeah, you've pretty much peaked out. Now do it for all the other elements. And once you've done that for every single element, congratulations, you win Granblue Fantasy. Just enjoy dominating and carrying everything forever. You have crossed the finish line until they add more stuff. But yeah, this has been a brief overview of steps to increase your power level if you are mid game heading into end game and don't know what to look for. So yeah, if this video is helpful for you, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTuber stuff. Check out my Patreon, which we linked below. Any support you can give me there, I will super appreciate. I'm also doing a lot more modeling and photography there, so if you want to see really cute pictures of me, I guess go to my Patreon or follow me on Twitter. Yeah, beyond all that, I hope this was helpful for you folks, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Annie, say goodbye. Goodbye, folks. Goodbye. I'm a kitty. Bye.